What's up everyone, this is B the Installer. Got all kinds of cool things to talk about with regards to the Samsung 2025 TV and home theater lineup. We got things that Sony's not doing this year that Samsung is. That's awesome. Stick around to the end for that. I found out that I can control a TV with my watch. I'm going to show you a little bit about that. There seems to be some sort of surprise with every TV that we're going to talk about, so it should be a really cool video. And I wanted to start with the Samsung Frame Pro. Now, don't just skip over this because the Samsung Frame is one of those TVs that looks really good and also acts as art mode. So if you have to satisfy the wife in the bedroom in another manner with the TV, this is the one to do it for sure as a dual purpose TV. And the cool thing about the Samsung Pro is that it's going to be a Neo QLED for the first time. That is a major upgrade. Before we had a pretty good TV and a fantastic piece of art. Now we're going to have fantastic on both ends. We're going to be able to have a really good TV that has much better contrast with its edge-lit TV but still has dimming zones. It's a little bit confusing. It's not straight up full array local dimming like some of the TVs we're used to in the LED world, but still improvements over the regular Samsung Frame. We saw it at CES and it looked really nice, and I just think it's going to be much better TV while still keeping the fantastic art mode stuff that we like about the Samsung Frame. In addition to the increased contrast, you also get really good gaming specs. This TV is up to 144 Hertz refresh rate. It's always been a pretty good gaming TV as well, and I think that's underrated. It also is going to have the wireless One Connect box. So you won't have to have that one cord that is ugly going, into a certain area or recess a box like I had to for my buddy in New York when I installed Samsung Frame the easy way and the hard way. Now all you need if you get the Samsung Frame Pro is just the power cord, connect it, much easier to install, trust me. If you keep that box out from behind the TV, you won't have to worry about it being challenging to connect wirelessly to that for the internet, and just in general it's going to make it more aesthetically pleasing. So I'm really excited for the new Samsung Frame Pro. We're going to have a 75-inch model starting at $3,200, 65-inch at $2,200, 85-inch at $4,300. I think those prices are in line with the Samsung Frame of last year, just the regular one. It might be a little bit more expensive, but still, it's a much upgraded TV, so I think it's going to be great for those who need to get a TV that's going to look like an art piece when it's not on, but then flip on the game when you need to in the bedroom, and it's a pretty good gaming TV as well. So the Samsung Frame Pro still remains one of those TVs that's going to probably make everyone in the family happy, especially with it being a better TV in 2025. Now the Samsung Frame and the OLED TVs are new news today technically, but I want to get to a couple of them that were from last week that I didn't cover, and that is the 4K QLED TV, Neo QLED. So we have three different QLEDs. We have the QN90F, the QN80F, and the QN70F. Now the QN90F is the top of the line here. We have sizes from 43, 50, 55, 65, 75, 85, 98, and I believe a 115-inch model too. So you can see all the prices here. Now, man, that 98-inch is 15 grand. So I wonder what the 115-inch is going to be. Man, that's going to be expensive, but I definitely want to see it because 115 inch is the size at which it then becomes reasonable to replace like a projector, because 98-inch is awesome for most people. It's enormous, but that's really expensive compared to an 85. The difference is there, but for 3 times the price, tough. But if you go up to 115, you're going to get even more size, and it really could replace a projector. Now, you're getting 4K at 165 Hertz. You are going to get that new glare-free finish on this QN90F, just the 90F, the 990F 8K. You'll get the NQ4 AI Gen 3 processor, and you're going to get the Samsung Art Store on the QLEDs. So on this TV, you'll be able to do the full Art Store, not just the ambient mode, which was good, but this will have the full Art Store. So I think this is going to be a big TV as usual for Samsung. Great Neo QLED, 4K. Having it up to 115 inches, the new thing this year, that's crazy. Absolutely massive TV, and it's going to have the new AI features. We see Vision AI on all the different models, so let me explain that really quickly. You got click to search, which recognizes what's playing on the screen and can provide information tailored to you in real time, which is pretty cool. You have live translate, allowing you to view subtitles on a live broadcast in one of 7 different languages, which is really awesome. You have Samsung Food giving you recipes for your favorite shows or movies. That's pretty interesting. Plus, it allows you to order groceries and takeout straight from your TV. You have generative wallpaper. You can use AI to create custom images based on your preferences. Home Insights, helping you keep tabs on your household environment through safety notifications and daily updates to your mobile device. And then Pet and Family care, prompt the TV to watch out for unusual sounds or behaviors and curate your home settings based on your environment. So some cool AI features on this 4K, 8K, the OLEDs, all that. So gonna have AI in our lives going forward, but I think the Neo QLEDs are gonna be great. The 4K is typically really popular. Excited for that 115 inch. Now, another cool thing about the QN90F that and this should work, I think, on all the different TVs, is that my watch can actually control the TV, and I had absolutely no idea. So if you're in the Samsung ecosystem already with phones and watches and all that stuff, I actually have the Watch 7 Ultra. So they showed me how to use my wrist command, so I could just use my hand and just like squeeze my fingers or turn my wrist and be able to control the TV, and it works a lot better than you'd think. So I'm excited to get that in-house so I can try that, because sometimes you can't find the remote and you just want to like pause the TV or something. I can do that with my headphones sometimes, but to be able to just do that with my watch would be really cool. So I'm excited to show you more about that. It's a pretty cool feature as well. But we have some surprises with regards to the 8K as well. The QN990F 8K TV here. So I have not always been a huge fan of 8K because there's not a lot of content for it, but every year I look at these Samsung 8K TVs, they look absolutely fantastic. And again, no exception here, probably the coolest 8K TV that I've seen. You have it in 65, 75, and 85 inch on the site right here. But the surprising thing to me is that I see they're going to have a 98 inch 8K TV, which from my knowledge, that would be the first 98 inch 8K TV that I've ever heard of. So when you're going up to this size, you're really going to be loving that 8K, I imagine. This has the NQ8 AI Gen 3 processor, so its own processor here. It has the wireless One Connect box, and it does have the glare-free finish. So this is a premium TV with that wireless One Connect box, making it very easy to install somewhere. Glare-free finish, so you won't have to worry about glare in a bright room. All at the same time is extremely bright with 4K up to 240 hertz. So that is extremely fast. So gamers delight. You're going to have all kinds of great features with this. So I'm interested to hear from you guys. Are you going for an 8K TV this year? 65 inch for $5,500, 75, 6,500, and 85 is $8,500. Pretty steep prices, but a pretty cool TV. New metal finish, really nice, sleek design, 8K TV. And then, man, if they have a 98 inch version of this, does that change it for anyone? Are you guys looking at getting a 98 inch? Something to think about. Now, in addition to the TVs and the OLED TVs that I'm going to talk about in just a second, we did have a couple of awesome soundbars to look at. I think everyone understands that Samsung has a great Q series soundbar, their Q990F 11.1.4 channel sound system with subwoofer and rear speakers with upward firing sound. Really awesome system. We got to bump it in the room with the QN90F, and I'm really impressed by this soundbar. I actually want to get this into my house and put it up with one of the Samsung TVs here, preferably the S95F, of course, and see how it rivals some of the other sound systems that I have. I really think it will hold its own with regards to playing against something like the Bar 9 from Sony, but I have to get it in the house to check it out because it's a full system, 11.1.4 sound. And one of the cool things about this system is that the subwoofer is like half the size it used to be, but still extremely powerful, and it's going to be really awesome. I've seen some subs like this that are smaller that can really pack a punch, and it, probably blend in a little bit better with your living room or bedroom, wherever it is, taking up less space, but still being really powerful. And I have a lot of faith that this system is going to be awesome. So I'm excited for the Q990F soundbar system. And then we also got to look at the QS700F soundbar system, which is a 3.1.2 channel system with just the bar and the subwoofer. And that was sounding pretty good, to be honest. We had that in the room with the S95F, which I'm going to talk about in just a second because that's exciting, but it sounded great as well. And for $629, that is a great price to have a nice sound system that will clearly be better than just listening to your TV alone. And this does work with the Q Symphony, so it can work with your TV if you have a Samsung. You're going to get a great Dolby Atmos experience with this as well. Obviously, it's not going to be quite as immersive as having that 990F that we were talking about a little bit ago, but still going to be a great kind of like mid-tier soundbar that I'm interested in having in here for like a game room or secondary room, bedroom. It's going to sound a lot better than just the TV alone. So excited for that soundbar system too. Okay, now we're talking about OLED TVs from Samsung, which I know everybody had that on their bingo card about 5 years ago, right? No, I'm just kidding. But we have QD OLEDs, awesome TVs. We already know this. And this year we have the 4th generation QD OLEDs. And I'll have to tell you, the Samsung S95F is an amazing looking TV, and I'm really excited for a few different ways. And one of the things that I had talked about was how Samsung is doing something that Sony isn't in 2025. That's actually coming out with a 4th generation QD OLED in the 77-inch size. So that is something that's really exciting for this Samsung lineup. They're actually coming out with 2 of them. They have the S95F and the S90F. So that's really exciting news for Samsung, because I think that the QD OLEDs are probably my favorite TVs because they have amazing picture quality, amazing contrast, and the brightness gets better and better every year. Off-angle viewing is amazing. This year we're talking about having a 165 hertz panel, so gamers are gonna love that. You have the NQ4 AI Gen 3 processor. You're gonna get all of those AI features I was talking about earlier, and you're gonna have that OLED glare-free technology. So on the S95F, that's something that's gonna have the glare-free, but then when we talk about the S90F, it won't. So I'm interested to know, again, are you guys gonna be excited for, the improved glare-free finish of this S90F, or would you just wish that Samsung stopped doing the glare-free finish and just had the traditional OLED finish? Those are good questions, because I know that's kind of a touchy subject that we're gonna be talking about in 2025. But brighter than ever OLED TVs, the glare-free finish, new processor, gonna have AI features on it, amazing 165 hertz refresh rate for gamers, and the fact that it's in 77-inch is gonna be a huge seller, because whether you get this or the S90F, it's going to be the only brand that sells 77-inch in 2025. That's a brand new 4th generation panel from what I know. Now, if we go to the S90F, for the most part, these are gonna also be QD OLEDs. They have a 42-inch, a 48-inch, 55, 65, and 77-inch. Now, the only one that probably isn't going to be a QD OLED would be this 83-inch model. From what I'm hearing, it's gonna be one of the 4 stack or tandem panels, OLED panels, the traditional WOLEDs that are going to the next level as well. This will be 144 hertz, but still, I think a lot of people will buy these because the price is right on the S90F. If you look at last year's models right now, you're talking about saving over 20% buying the second tier over the top level. So it was higher than that. It was, I think, something like $3,700 for a 65-inch versus $2,199 for a 65-inch. Here you can see the 65-inch of the S90F is $2,500. And if we go back, because I didn't really go over the price, yeah, $3,299 for a 65-inch, $4,500 for a 77, and 55 is $2,300. So I might have had the prices off a little bit. I think I was comparing to 77 inches, but $4,500 for the flagship 77-inch S95F. When you compare that to the Sony flagship A95L, I believe that is still $47.99. So we're entering here with the 4th generation panel that's $300 less than a 3-year-old A95L. So does that change anything for you guys? Are you thinking you would probably take up Samsung on the new panel? And then when it comes to this model here, you're gonna have the more traditional reflective material that I think does a great job of knocking down reflection. You're gonna have the same processor. You're gonna have 144 hertz versus 165 hertz. I don't know if that's the biggest deal to everyone that's not a high-speed gamer, but still, there are differences, you should know that, but I know that the S90F will be a very popular TV, and I'm excited for that one too. And then lastly, we also have the S85F, which is a little bit more basic. I think some of the differences just remain in the processor. We have a little bit less speaker system. People weren't sure if these were gonna be QD OLED or regular OLED, but I've heard from some of my buddies that review TVs like Tech with KG that this 55 and 65-inch might actually be QD OLED, where the 77 and 83 aren't. But again, you have a 3rd set of 77-inch OLED TVs and a 2nd set of 83-inch from Samsung. So really awesome that we have another set of 77 and 83-inch TVs, and the price is a little bit better on these, $4,500 for an 83-inch. Still rather expensive for an 83-inch TV when you compare some of the other options at 85-inch or larger, or maybe you're gonna go for a 98-inch this year. But I'm definitely excited for the OLED TVs from Samsung. Really excited to get the S95F in that 77-inch size to see how that works. Definitely want to see the S90F. If we get that 83-inch in either one of those two models, that would be a big game changer too. I would consider that for my bedroom. You get another 6-inch in size with regards to a TV. That's going to make a difference, especially if it's bigger and brighter and faster refresh rate, new AI features. A lot of exciting news from Samsung. So you guys will have to let me know in the comments, how excited are you guys for this Samsung TV and home theater lineup? Which one of these do you need to see in my house so that we can show you guys all the features in detail coming up? Let me know any and all questions that you guys might have in the comments below. Make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. We're going to have all kinds of cool big TVs in 2025, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.